Hello, shalom, hola, and welcome to the Spiritual Life with international mystic psychic medium Travis Tidwell. That's me. And we want to welcome you to this podcast. I also want to welcome and acknowledge my executive producer here with me this evening. She can stay awake. Athena, my daughter, who's also a priest of Sacred Dragon, Delivery Reiki Master, executive producer. This podcast is sponsored by Sacred Dragon and has been created by not only the Lord God Yahweh, but by my guide, Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus. My organization, my philosophy has really, in a lot of ways, been simplified, upgraded from the original Divine Pymander, which was initially a school of shepherds. But today we're empowering women just with the same power as men, with the Solomon information I share and receive, as well as working with the mysticism of Kabbalah. There's 3 different ways to study Kabbalah, 3 different variations of Kabbalah, We have the K for original traditional Torah. We have the Q for the mysticism, which is where I'm at. We have the C for the Christianized, which before I kind of badmouthed on one of my episodes, I want to retract that. Christianized Kabbalah is okay. I'm not a Christian, and I don't follow Christian philosophy really in that level. But Francis Barrett, who wrote the Magus in England years ago, is Christianized Kabbalah, and that was the first Kabbalah book I ever studied. And he's a great, great author, and I love Francis Barrett and pray for his soul and his spirit. And that would be a book that I would recommend for everybody to look at because it has ancient information in it. Remember, Christianity is barely 2,000 years old. Has went through a lot of changes and process to get to where it's at today. I was born and raised Catholic. I stand by the Catholicism, even though it's kind of dry. But it was created by the Apostle Peter, who knew Jesus. And even though I'm not a Christian, I'm very Christ-like, which I do honor more as a human being and know that it empowers me. That's one thing about Sacred Dragon. We have Christ in one hand and we have Moses in the other. Because we know Christ is more of a energy, a consciousness. Jesus is the person who represents the Christ. But today we're here to talk about sympathetic magic, moving energy in different ways. And God knows I move energy in so many different ways for people as well as for myself. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about sympathetic magic, where your sympathy, your emotional body, your energy is going to move energy. So let me give you an example. If you're conscious of your hand chakras, your palm chakras, you rub them together with your fingertip thumb chakras, rub them together. And you could hold an item in your hand. I have a pin in my hand right now. So let's say I'm holding this pin in my hand. And let's say my boss has been a jerk at work, okay? And or a secretary or somebody I'm working with is not being nice to me. Now, I can hold this pin in my hand and I can rub on it and visualize that whoever touches this pin will be compelled to be nice to me. And I would work with that for a few minutes. And then when I would see that person, I would give them this pin to use with the intention that they will be compelled to be nice to me. You can never really use this to hurt anybody. You can only do this to move energy for yourself and a benefit. You are manipulating. Okay, yeah, you're manipulating, but in a very positive way, because you're manipulating the emotional body. And if somebody's being mean, not only doing yourself a favor to have a better experience, but you're helping them too. That's not very healthy for anybody to be mean or in a negative vibration. But energy is real. Magic is real. Sympathetic magic is real. It's just like, a child's sick and the parent goes to the child, the mother, and she holds them, and her love can make that child feel better. So the power of your emotional body is very, very strong. I have accounts written and published in books of sympathetic magic that I've done for my son, my oldest son, when he was having legal problems. And we needed to move energy and have people be compelled to show him compassion, which is what we've done, and which is what I've done for him. And so it's important that we're all keeping our minds open in moving energy. Now, you could put that energy also into a paper clip. It doesn't have to be a pen or even a piece of paper. But it takes a little bit of concentration to do that. You can't just hold it for a minute and then let it go. It's not going to work that way. And you should always put yourself in a pyramid of divine light before you do anything magical or spiritual. For me, are the same. You always put yourself in a pyramid of light. You breathe in through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. And you breathe in through your nose, you always visualize your crown chakra receiving that divine light energy from the universe and from our divine source, Yahweh. So you breathe in, you draw in that divine white light energy in your body through your crown chakra. When you exhale through your mouth, you're going to release all negative, toxic energy, pain, illness, sorrow at that time when you exhale. So you breathe in, divine light energy into your body, and then you exhale all toxic, negative emotions, illnesses, pain, and start doing that every day. That's going to help you move energy. Another way to move energy is with candles. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything I do with candles because I do a lot of things to help people with them, and there's many different things I do to candles with dressing them, programming them, etc. But if you're looking to create more money for yourself, you can get yourself a household candle, and you can meditate with it and visualize that candle attracting money to you. You can get a green candle on a Friday with some bayberry oil, rub the candle with some bayberry oil, and put a piece of paper of your wishes of money or what you need to attract for money and see how that works. Burn the candle, then burn the parchment or the paper that you're working with. There's many different ways to move energy. People think, oh, that's kind of magic. That stuff doesn't work. Well, everything is connected to God. And that's one thing that people don't realize. Everything and everybody is God. Everything. A rock is God. Everything is God. So when you have that God principle, you start thinking about moving energy, it becomes a little bit easier. You know, sometimes I would tell my oldest son what to do, and he would argue with me, but then when I wouldn't say anything and I would just visualize him doing it for me, I would get it done. And a lot of times I would talk to my angels to go to my problem child or problem situations in my life, again, to move energy. Because it's all energy here on this planet. We're living on a frequency of energy. And so that's very, very important for you to know. If you haven't seen the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, where they talk about water as an example, if you write I love you on a glass of water or a jar of water, it's going to crystallize into beautiful, beautiful things. But if you write I hate you, it's going to turn dark and murky. And so that's your body. Your body's over 75-80% water. So whatever you're feeling inside your body is also energy. You're walking magnetic energy. Another thing to do would be to start doing some mantras for yourself. One of my favorite mantras is that I have and attract money in abundance, or I have and attract money and good fortune. This is another way to move energy. You know, we sit around, oh, it's stagnant at my house, or it's just not, things are moving slow. Then we start talking about aromatherapy, which will be another episode. But if you're having problems at work, coworker, or you're having problems with a family member, program something and give it to them. Meditate on it. Rub it with your hands like I told you. You know, your right hand's projective. Project love, though, and move all energy with love. You know, if that person at work is not being nice to you, you want to move their energy and compel them to be nice to you. And that's not really hurting anybody, because to be courteous and nice could be contagious. And that's what we want to do, is promote niceness, courtesy, love, peace, happiness. And you can do that through this moving energy in many, many different ways. Now, I do candles for people where I engrave your name. I dress them with oils. Like I said, there's many ways to move energy. In one of my earlier episodes, we did talk about programming crystals a little bit and charging those crystals for a specific intent. We can get deeper than that and program and move energy through meditation and crystals. We talk about energy and moving energy through sympathetic magic, paperclip, paper, pen, things of that nature will help create more of a harmonious atmosphere. Also, don't forget to sage your home, sage your office. If you can get your hands on some good dragon's blood, you can put that in a spray bottle of water and spray your place. That'll help clear negative energy. Or you could also use some hot boiled water with some eucalyptus in it and cleanse your home. That would be another good way to move energy. I also want to promote my album this podcast. Time Has Come by Travis Tidwell on Spotify and iTunes. And my email address is travistidwellpodcast@gmail.com. Give me an email. If you got a spiritual question that's serious or something in your life I can help you with, email me. I'll put it on a podcast and I'll share it to you and give you your information for free. I'm hoping everybody this night this podcast who has tuned in would receive this information in divine love, divine light, divine trust. And I'm wishing everybody on this planet peace and love. Many blessings. Thank you so much.
Time has come for a change.